RILEE Rossouw is back into the setup, into the T20 arena. Some breaking news, massive news that has happened recently over the last couple of hours. Obviously, this morning that story broke. South Africa and CSA have released the squads for the England tour. Now, they've released the Test squad, the ODI squad, as well as the T20 squad. There's a lot of talking points that we need to get through. We're going to discuss each and every single um, team that has been released. I know I'm coming to you guys a little earlier than usual, 2 hours earlier. In fact, hectic load shedding schedules happening in South Africa, and I want to be a little bit equal to everybody that majority of you guys can join us live and watch this show. Because what has happened recently is that load shedding has made it difficult for people to stream and watch things, and it's all in the evening, round about supper time, etc., that people have been hit by load shedding. So I thought I'll be a little bit fair with everybody and try to give you guys a little bit of an earlier show than usual. So I'm here with you guys live. Looking forward to chatting to you about this. A lot to discuss. I'm going to read some of your comments as well. So don't forget to get involved with the super chat too if you really want us to read your questions. I might miss your questions if there are too many, but I'll try to get as many as possible. But before we get going, before we get started, click subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos. Don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget to comment, and don't forget to share this video with all your friends and family. It's very important that you do so. You can also help us out by becoming a patron today. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. You can also download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. So let's get straight into this, guys. A lot to discuss today. We're going to be talking about many, many things. Let's do this. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid. This is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. Now, we know that there's some major news that has happened recently, and that is that the squads have been announced for the England tour. South Africa will be going to England on a tour, and here is the schedule. We'll be playing ODIs up front, and then we'll be going to the T20 series. There's also two island T20s in between. That is after the third T20 between the two teams. I will tell you guys about that right now quickly, if I can get that up and running. There's on Wednesday, the 3rd of August, and Friday, the 5th of August, there will be two T20s played against Ireland, hosted by the ECB, both at Bristol County Ground. So that's to be confirmed still, but there will be two T20s against Ireland in between. And then it's the Test series. We'll play 3 tests against England as well. So that's what's going to be happening in this particular games. Good to see that right now that's going to be taking place. But more the breaking news with regards to this is the fact that Temba Bavuma is injured. It will be 8 weeks that he'll be out, so he misses the entire England tour. That means that a new captain needs to be picked in the T20 arena. I did say, and I'm going to be consistent with this, I said that if Bavuma is injured and he doesn't get to play in the England tour, I think that they need to move on with the captain. I don't think that they should be selecting Temba Bavuma then going into the World Cup. I don't think that he has found the form and the consistency in the format, particularly the T20 format, to really say that he should be the person that should be selected in the team. And I mean, that for me is the major thing, because if he can't solidify a spot in the side, which was supposed to be the whole point of India tour and the England tour for me, was for him to show that he can be that opening partner for Quinton de Kock. Now, we know that he won't be available. So this is the team that has been selected. And to a lot of you guys will be happy about this, is the fact that RILEE Rossouw has returned. Now, I'm also happy that the opportunity has been given. I said that because other Colpacks have been given chances, I'm very happy about RILEE ROSSOUW getting a chance. Only fair that he gets a chance too. With over 400 runs in the T20 Blast this season, with six half centuries and a strike rate of 191 and an average of over 50. Also playing extremely well in the domestic setup for the Knights. I think he deserves an opportunity to show what he's capable of. So replacing Temba Bavuma as a batter at the top of the order, that is RILEE ROSSOUW. But the major news that came out of this particular selection was that David Miller will be the standing captain for Temba Bavuma. Now, I think if they're going to select David Miller as the captain, I think he needs to continuously be the captain until the World Cup. Because if RILEE ROSSOUW does what we all are hoping and expect him to do and score major runs, then I don't see how Temba Bavuma keeps a place in the side and gets selected instantly. I think it needs to be fair, like with everybody else that have lost their spots. They need to go then and work their way back until the other person falls out of form. So for me, this is the team. I'm putting up the T20 squad first and foremost because I think that is the one that we majorly want to speak about with a World Cup on the way. It's David Miller, Quinton de Kock, RILEE ROSSOUW, Rassie van der Dussen, Aiden Markram, Heinrich Klaassen, Tristan Stubbs, and Reza Hendricks. Then in the all-rounder department, Dwayne Pretorius, Wayne Parnell, Gerald Coetzee getting an opportunity, and Andile Pegler-Kwayo, which was quite a shock for me. I didn't think that. I thought it was a bit weird that he's getting an opportunity. We've been saying that he hasn't been performing good enough in the recent times for him to get a spot in the T20 arena. So it is a bit weird that he's getting selected in this particular team. There are other players of color that we could have probably picked above him if that is the reason why he's been selected, which I doubt. We've got Lunkin Gidi, Anrich Nokia, Kagiso Rapada in the seamer department, and then with spinners we've got Keshav Maharaj and Tabraj Shamsi. So I'm very happy for the likes of Gerald Coetzee. I think it's excellent opportunity for him to show what he's capable of. Very happy that RILEE ROSSOUW is being given an opportunity. I hope that he goes and he does shows us what we all hoped that he was capable of. But Andile Pegler-Kwayo was a bit of a worry for me. I don't know why he's been selected in this particular side. I don't see him playing in any of the matches if Wayne Parnell and Dwayne Pretorius are fit. I don't see why Andile Pegler-Kwayo will be in the mix. They could have had another option in Sibs Makanya, I feel. I think that would have been maybe a better opportunity for someone like that to get a chance in the T20 arena. There are other players that could have also gotten opportunities with regards to the T20 arena other than Andile. Maybe they could have thrown another spinner into the mix. There's only two spinners in the mix here. Maybe they could have had a George Linder or Bjorn Fortuin as an all-rounding option. I don't understand why Andile was picked in this particular series because I don't see him playing, particularly if Wayne Parnell and Dwayne Pretorius is fit. So that's the squad that was available, that has been selected. Now, RILEE ROSSOUW, I hope they put him at the top of the order with Quinn de Kock. I hope that they bond. I hope that they bring a partnership, put together a partnership that can be destructive, because this is now more on the proactive side, like we've all been hoping for. In fact, there are no more excuses anymore. There's no excuses anymore. With regards to Temba, not over there now. We can't cry about it either and complain about it. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. But I hope they don't go with this RILEE selection just to keep the fans quiet, and rather go with it as in select him. You've gone now and you've brought him back into the squad. He has to start. I don't see how he doesn't start. And if they're going to go with Reza Hendricks again as the second opener, I don't understand the logic behind it then. I think that this is an opportunity now to test that aggressive style that we've all been asking for. It's an opportunity now to show that we can play a brand of cricket that has that ability in it, that has that available to us. Attackers at the top of the order, something that we've all been crying for. And then you can have a likes of Rassie and Aiden being fit as well will cause a massive, massive scare to everybody. But it was a bit of a shock to me to see Andile added into the T20 mix again. He didn't really have a great T20 tournament domestically. So it was a bit of a shock for me to see him in the mix. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I do like Andile, and I do believe that he has potential. I just feel that he hasn't really put in performances that proves that he or backs up that potential that he does have. We've been waiting for him to hit that levels for quite some time. It's been years since we've been waiting for, and then we'll see signs of it. We'll see signs in his bowling, and then we'll see signs in his batting, and it will be inconsistent. Very rarely does Andile Pechelkwaya put in a performance where he bats and bowls well in one match. It will be one or the other. So we're still waiting for him to show us what he's capable of in this particular T20 format. Now let's go to the captaincy. Now we've got obviously David Miller. Wait, before I get to anything else, Kobus has thrown in a super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Kobus. Antile and Riza always get Proteas free passes. Riza is contracted by Cricket South Africa, and it's a difficult one because he does extremely well domestically. I mean, there's not many matches that he doesn't dominate domestically. So, we always say no players must go back domestically and get their form. Riza always goes back to domestic cricket and performs. He hasn't been able to translate that in the international setup. Maybe that's also because he knows every single time he plays, his positions on the line. It's very difficult to stay motivated and to stay mentally driven when you know that you are not the first choice. So I would actually want to get into his mind and try to have a think of what he's going through and what he feels, because he knows he's not a starter, but he gets a lot of opportunities because there's never been consistency at the top of the order. We've always had some problems. Either Quinton's not available or Temba's not available, or like now, and Riza gets thrown in on the last minute and then he has to perform. So it is quite difficult. He's spoken to us about that in a podcast before on this channel, not so long ago. I've asked him about that. How does he get himself ready? Because like in the World Cup, for example, when Quinton de Kock pulled out, it must have been a couple of hours until he knew he was going to start. Or actually, apparently he was always going to start in that particular match, so he knew the night before. But generally speaking, in other matches too, he's been brought into games without knowing that he's going to play and then expected to perform. So it is quite interesting. But with regards to the captaincy, David Miller is an interesting one. I mean, we've chatted about. I saw a couple of people say that talk about David Miller as a potential captain in previous shows, and to me, it didn't look like an obvious choice because I mean, Keshav Maharaj is his captain when they play domestic cricket. Keshav Maharaj is also the vice captain, which is strange to me that they haven't picked Keshav as the captain, seeing that he's vice captain. The obvious progression will then be to go to your vice captain and then get a new vice. But they've gone with David Miller as the skipper. So if they were thinking along that lines, then I don't know why he wasn't skipper in the first place instead of Temba then. So that's confusing to me because it doesn't make sense, the logic behind certain things. Like I don't understand how you can pick a captain and a vice captain with the vice captains meant to be there in case something happens to your captain and supposed to be working in tangent with your captain. And then your captain gets injured, and then you don't even pick your vice captain as your captain. You pick a new captain. So it's strange. And it's also not a captaincy appointment that I feel is for the future. I would have gone with someone like Aiden Markham, seeing that he is the next in line. Well, at least we believe that. Maybe that's not what the selectors believe. Maybe that's not what Boucher believes. But that's truly what I believe. I mean, I think personally that Aiden should be the next captain. So it is strange. Yes, I know he's captain before in T20 cricket. But he's never been one of the main candidates in my eyes as a captain for South Africa. I always saw the likes of Aiden, maybe. Keshav Maharaj, I've seen captaincy qualities. I mean, he captains for the Dolphins. But I'm just hoping that he does show what he's capable of and he has the support structure around him to be able to do the job that he wants to do. So good luck to David Miller. It's a new test. But I think that they need to keep consistency now into this World Cup. I don't think that bringing back Temba, if he recovers after 8 weeks, after this tour, it's almost time for the World Cup, and then you're going to disrupt the whole team again. After you found, because I'm looking at this now, you're going to probably, if they do well, they're going to find synergy, they're going to find a connection, they're going to find a game plan that works for them, and then everything will be thrown off guard. Everything will be thrown off guard if he doesn't perform the way we're hoping. Miller, thank you for the super chat again, Kobus. Miller is captain because Shamsi is first pick spinner, and England you don't normally play two spinners, and Markram is a shout like you mentioned. Yes, yeah, I understand the thought process about the whole two spinner situation as well. And I know Shamsi is first choice spinner, and it doesn't always seem that way either. We saw that Keshav Maharaj was picked and Shamshi dropped, and Keshav was the captain. So we've seen things like that happen before. Um, but if Keshav is not that important to you in the team, and you don't see him as a person that is a starter, why make him vice captain? That's what confuses me about the whole situation. It's not the fact of whether these people have the ability or whether these cricketers have the ability or not to be leaders. It's more about the consistency, because I feel that consistency in any team is very important to build a winning mentality. So that's the thing that I'm a bit strange, worried about. The reason they might have been chosen Miller as captain is because the way they see it going forward in T20 cricket with Dave Miller being captain. He also captained the Kings Punjab a few years back. I know about that, yes, that he did that. That too. But I like this T20 unit. I think it's a dangerous one. I'm excited to see the newer guys. Like I hope that Jadel Kutsia gets a run. It's finally an opportunity, because not so long ago, about 2-3 years ago, he was the hot new talent on the block, and we were all fast tracking him into teams. And now he gets an opportunity in England. Sorry, pardon. So hopefully he'll get an opportunity and perform the way we know he can. He showed brilliant signs in Zanzi Super League with his pace and his raw pace. So it will be nice to him to learn from the likes of Andrik Nokia, KJ Rabada, and them. Particularly, I'm interested in what Lungi and Gidi can pass on. I think Lungi and Gidi is our most skillful T20 bowler. He has so much in his arsenal. So it's going to be interesting on how South Africa see Lungi and Gidi in this particular team and where they rank him within the setup. Okay, so let's move on. That is the T20 setup, and that's the T20 lineup. Next is the ODI team. Now, this was an interesting one too. So Keshav Maharaj will be the captain. So we have two different white ball captains now. You got Quinton de Kock, Jana Manmalan, Riza Hendricks, Aiden Markram, Rassi van der Dussen, David Miller, Heinrich Klaassen, Carl Verreina, Kaya Zondo, Marco Janssen, and Dile Pechlekwayo again. Gerald Coetzee and Dile Pechlekwayo I have twice here. Oops, my bad, guys. Dwayne Pretorius, Lungi Ngidi, Heinrich Nokia, Lazard Williams, Keshav Maharaj, and the Braj Shamsi. So I've got Andile Pechlekwayo there twice, guys. So good that I had to pick him twice. No, what I want to say here is I don't understand why we're going with if you're going to make David Miller the captain for the T20 arena, why not make him the captain then for the ODIs as well? Is it because because Keshav is not the first choice spinner, but are they maybe looking towards India and saying, you know what, two spinners are probably going to be the basics when you select your team. So Keshav will probably play every single game, and that will be the more smarter option. So Keshav is obviously in there. I don't understand why Kayo Zondo is still getting opportunities. If he's not a starter, like I said before, if you're going to pick a 33-year-old, 34-year-old, 35-year-old, 32-year-old, they need to be starters in the team, because I don't see what else he's going to be offering to the rest of the team, to the rest of the setup over there. It's a bit crazy for me that that's the case. I'm glad though to see Yanaman Malan back into the squad, but we know that he's our best opener, I think, in this format. Marisa Hendricks still being selected, but David Miller, Hendrik Klaassen, Carl Verreina, Kaya Zondo is a bit of a shock, and Andile is a bit of a shock to me, because those seem to be coming out of very left field at the moment. I wouldn't have thought that Andile would have been selected for any team right now. I thought that they will give him a domestic season to really prove what he's worth. And when there's also all-rounders that have been doing excellently well as well, like why Farisco Adams doesn't get this opportunity in T20 cricket, it still is crazy to me. He's one of the best all-rounders in domestic South African cricket for a long time now. He's been putting on excellent performance. Nicknamed the Iceman, he plays that role that we're looking for. Very calm under pressure, can hit a long ball. It's strange that he's not getting an opportunity. I mean, if Andile gets an opportunity, then surely Farisco Adams should be in the mix too, which is quite a shock for me. But with regards to the ODI side, I'm not 100% like yay for it. KG is also being rested in this particular team. So it's interesting to see this. Guys, I know about the mistakes, so don't remind me. But Dwayne Pretorius, Marco Janssen, I mean, those two are very important, I feel, because we need that all rounders in the ODI setup as well. I think it's very important to have those players there to give you those extra bowling options, batting deeper, very important. Um, so it will be interesting to see what they go with regards to that. I just want to read this again to just make sure that I haven't really missed anybody over here. Um, what was interesting to me is that also that Wayne Parnell never got an opportunity maybe in the ODI arena over Andile Peklekwaya as well. I just think that Andile Peklekwaya's selection was a bit strange, in my opinion. I like Lazard Williams in the team, still getting opportunities for South Africa. I like that. I do think that guy has an amazing ability and amazing mentality. Um, and I do believe that he deserves to play for South Africa when the chances are available. So it's good that the selectors are giving him opportunities. Zonda is good, but for me, Makanya is better. And yes, me too. Makanya is younger. He's a leader, and I feel that he's a better option. And I think he's also a better option in that middle order, a more attacking option in the middle order. So it's a guy that is playing with a mentality that we are hoping South Africa play with. We want to play a proactive brand of cricket and a positive brand of cricket. He should be one of the main catalysts of that. I mean, he can be one of the main catalysts of that. We need people in that middle order to really strengthen it. And I think Sibs Makanya has shown what he's capable of. If he has another good season like he did last season, they can't still look beyond him. He needs to be given an opportunity in international cricket. But yeah, the ODI squad looking decent, I guess. In a lot of the players that we're looking at, interesting. But how we're going to line up is going to be how his lineup is going to be how this lineup is going to be formulated over the next couple of games is going to be interesting. That top six is going to be very difficult to pick. Janaman Malan, Quentin de Kock at the top of the order. Probably going with Rasif van der Dussen at 3, going Aiden at 4, 5 with David Miller, 6 with Tristan Stubbs probably. That will most likely be my top 6 if I select a team in the T20 arena. In the ODI arena, though, I mean, sorry, I was talking ODIs and I thought Tristan Stubbs was there. He's not. I'm lying. So number 6 would probably be either Heinrich Klaassen or Calvin Reina in the mix. I would be leaning more towards Heinrich Klaassen in this particular manner because I think that he more suits that attacking style of play lower down the order. And for me, still, I don't think they picked enough spinning all-rounders if they're thinking about India. If they're going with a mindset of picking a team that will be strong for the World Cup, which will be in India, that's going to be the key. So, yeah, very, very interesting to see how they're going to pick that ODI top 6. Janaman and Kwani, for me, are the best openers in that particular regard. I would have been playing Temba Bavuma as a number 3 anyway in my team. And David Miller would just move down, I guess, even though I believe that he should be batting higher up. More time at the crease for David is better for all of us, you know? So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about, a lot to talk about when it comes to you guys. Lawrence saying still no Janaman in the T20 squad, would have been selected him over Riza. Me too. I think that would have been a better option as well. But I guess that the selectors are also being fair with regards to backing the players that they have backed initially and giving them more opportunities when necessary. I do hope, though, that this RILEE ROSSOUW signing, I'm going to say it again, is not there just to shut up the fans. If you're selecting RILEE ROSSOUW, he needs to play. It's as simple as that in my eyes. Let's move on to the test arena. Let's see what's been happening in the test game. We've got the Protest Test squad for the tour. Dean Alga as captain. We've got Sarel Ewe, Aiden Markram back into the mix. So even after Dean Alga spoke about the IPL guys and missing the tests and they should work for their spot to get back into the team, all of those things were said by Dean Alga. Doesn't look like it's coming to fruition. Aiden Markman is back into the setup. Rassi van der Distance back into the setup. And I like the fact that Ryan Rickleton keeps his place. Kyle Verreyn is also in the mix. Kyle Zondo's there. Once again, I'm going to say it again. I don't know what they're doing with Kyle Zondo's selection. I don't think that he benefits from this particular selection. Why are we picking a 33-year-old if he's not going to start? I do not understand the mindset. I would rather have gone with someone like Tony DeZorzi if they're looking for a Black African batter who has been performing pretty well recently in domestic cricket, has been showing his ability against the Titans, has showed his ability against the VP Blitz. He's a Black African top order batter. It makes more sense in my eyes to pick someone like Tony. Marco is an all-rounder. No Vian Libber. No Vian Mulder. Kagiso Rabada, Lungi Ngidi, Dwan Olivier, Luther Pamela, Clinton Steelman, and Nokia. I do think that those are our best four-day bowlers. I honestly do think so. I think Clinton Steelman is in that mix. And I do think Luther Pamela deserves a lot more credit than he's been given. When Kagiso Rabada was out, Luther Pamela stepped up and he showed what he's capable of. He might not hit that 140 marks, but he's a very accurate bowler in Test cricket and can be very dangerous. Surprised that Lungi Ngidi is not in the mix over here, though. Simon Harmer, Keshav Maharaj is there too. I was a bit surprised about that. I thought that perhaps Lungi would get a recall for the Test arena as well. Because, a lot of people would be saying that is probably his best. He is there. No, he is in the test squad. I missed him. Sorry, guys, on the list. So when I was doing this, I missed it. Of course, it was very difficult to see all the names. So many squads being produced at once. I'm sorry, guys. Lungi Gidi is there. So it's good to see that Lungi is available as well, because I do think that is one of his best formats. But yeah, it's interesting to see. I don't think that Sapamla will probably play. I think he will be more backup. But it's interesting to see that Vian Mulder was not selected. I think that they are maybe thinking about the batting aspect of things. He hasn't necessarily come to fruition with the batting. The test squad is decent. I just have a question mark over Kyle Zondo. I think that there could have been other players that could have been selected over him. Now, before we move on and I get to some of the fan comments to see what you guys have had to say, I'm just going to read out what Victor Ipatsang had to say. He said the national selection panel and I are relishing the opportunity to see what the strong Proteas group will produce in this all-important tour to England with the ICC World Test Championship points at stake. The team has everything to play for. The T20 format is a high priority for us at the moment because of the ICC T20 World Cup coming in a few short months in Australia. We are looking to give opportunities to players that are interested in seeing and working out the best combinations while also trying to balance our desire to maintain enough consistency within the setup that the players are used to playing together as a team by the time they reached Australia for the World Cup. I think that's an excellent line right there. That is the main line for me, actually. Keep consistency so that the players are playing together as a team. The series will go a long way in helping us achieve those objectives, said Victor Impensang. He went on to say that while the ODI series is not for Super League points, it's not. The 50-over format is of vital importance as we look ahead to the 2023 ICC World Cup in India. The combinations tried and the performances we yielded will go a long way in our build-up to that tournament. This will be a very long tour for several members of the team who will participate in all three formats and the entire coaching and support staff. On behalf of the selection panel, I would like to wish Mark Boucher, our two stand-in white ball captains Keshav and David Miller, and Test captain Dean Alger all the very best for the tour. We anticipate exciting matches and nail-biting finishes against a strong opposing team that I know our Proteas will be enjoying facing off against. Okay, that's what Victor had to say. Interesting to see what he did have to say. But I never knew that the ODIs were not for championship points. That changes things a little bit. So clearly then they're going to have to give opportunities, I feel, to the guys that haven't been seen. So then I would like to see those guys get an opportunity. The guys that haven't played, because if it's not for points, then you might as well just test things. So go ahead. Um, would have been a very good opportunity to maybe play a guy like Diego Previs if it wasn't for championship points. It would have been an interesting opportunity to try something like that. But unfortunately, that is not the case. So let's read some of your comments. What have you guys have to say? Lorenzo saying he's happy with the test squad. Why is Rassi there? Rassi's old and not performing. Uh, I'm thinking that you're saying that in test cricket. I don't see Sapama playing Olivier or play because he knows the conditions. Harlan, so what's the logic of backing Ariza, of him wasting so many opportunities? You know, Riza's an interesting one because, like I said, he always performs well in domestic cricket, and then every single time, whenever they're about to pick squads, he's in the mix or the top batter in the country. It's very difficult to overlook that, and you're just hoping as a coach that when you back someone that they show that ability in the at the level that you're hoping that they perform. You want them to perform at the international level. And he's shown signs of it, but he's never actually really came to the party the way we want him, to dominate like that. And I think maybe because the spotlight's not fully on him to be that guy. And I think that's perhaps the reason why that hasn't happened yet. Um, let's move on from that. Khalid Vian also was a poor county stunt so far, didn't do himself any favors at all. Yes, he's struggling with the 4-day arena. Like we saw him smack a massive score there in the T20 arena, which is not necessarily a format that I would think about him first. But he needs to work on his batting when it comes to the red ball format. He is struggling a little bit. Um, it's really strange. Brivers is not back in the ODI since there is a World Cup next year. Perfect time to groom him. I thought that would be a good opportunity, especially with this not being for any points. Do you think this is the end of T20, Pavuma's T20 career? Look here, if RILEE ROSSOUW performs in this particular series, it's going to be very difficult for them to reselect Timba Pavuma. They're going to have to explain to me what their reasons are, because that's going to need explaining. And knowing RILEE ROSSOUW, this is the perfect platform for him to do that. So I actually do see him and I expect him to perform. If he doesn't, then we can start discussing whether we're going to bring back Timba or not. But if he does, I think it's going to be very difficult for him to come back into the team. We're going to miss his captaincy. I do think he's a very good captain. Let's see what David Miller can do. If David Miller can handle that pressure and make those decisions that are needed, the difficult decisions needed to change the match. Hardly can we afford to give guys opportunity in ODI though? Even though there's no points available, I think we should play our best ODI side, regardless of momentum is key. Um, I think there's enough time with the ODI format. I think that we haven't necessarily found our best formation, best team, our best team, our best strategy in ODIs. So I think there is still room for improvement and room to test things. So this is a nice opportunity to do that. It is a bit weird that Wayne Parnell's not in the mix, and Andila is picked again. But yeah, I would like to see what they can do, especially in certain positions, maybe one or two positions they need to fill. So this is a perfect opportunity to gain that momentum, but also test one or two different positions. When I say test, I don't mean the entire team. We look here, the squad that was selected, any team that they go with, are players that have played for South Africa already. There aren't many debutants in this time around in the ODI setup. So everybody that's going to be selected would have played for South Africa already. So, but I want them to stick with something more consistent on what they think and what their vision is. So, not maybe give a whole new person opportunities, but maybe certain areas where it's a little bit weak, give them opportunities. Riza has got enough chances, time to move on and look for youngsters. Until is the greatest all-rounder of all time. I want Miller to captain white ball team, and he is in the T20. Why is it so difficult for our players, especially those of Khalid, to secure a contract in the international leagues like IPL, county cricket, etc.? I think that our players of color haven't really been given opportunities to show their talent against India and two Indian markets. Um, so the best opportunities to actually get our chance to play T20 cricket and against India. That's probably your best opportunity to show what you are capable of. And that's where you get cited. The Zanzi Super League tours and our players of color have never necessarily stood up as main dominant players. Majority of the time, it's been the spinners um, that really stood out as young talents. And then you got the likes of Ian Libber and those guys that have also been that have done well but never got picked up in the IPLs as well. The county cricket, it's easier for a white player to get into the county circuit. I feel than it is for a player of color. With Colpacks, etc. Even before that, with ancestral visas and all of those things, the chances of a player of color having an ancestral visa to England is highly unlikely. So that's why the county circuit, I feel, is a bit difficult for our players. There needs to be some sort of connection there, heritage wise as well, I think, or with regards to family and everything, or previous history with the counties, etc. So it is a lot more difficult for players of color to get sight in these leagues because they're not being able to showcase their talent against people that are actually that market to be able to see what they're capable of. What happened to David Bedingham? Why can't Victor convince him to play for the Proteas? Same like Louis Deploy. Louis Deploy is a different case to David Bedingham. David Bedingham, we know the story. I broke the story on this channel. If you want to know more about that again, go watch that video again. All the details is in that. The color segregation hurts SA clearly. The color segregation hurts us because uh, it's plain and simple that apartheid messed up this country. And what irritates me is that there's a superiority complex within our race and within our group still today. Apartheid has suppressed so many people for so many years. It even caused a divide between our people of color, our our Indian, our colored people, and our Black Africans. Now, what we don't know, and what many people don't know, it's not the same. The worst was done to the Black Africans. They were not considered citizens. They were put into townships, um, living in tin houses. I mean, taken out of their communities, obviously, and put out to the outskirts, but not considered citizens at all. They were not even considered citizens of the country, whereas people of color, colored people, Indian people, Asian people were. They could tick at least that they were a certain race. They were considered as citizens. They could get certain jobs. And not great, lavish jobs necessarily, but certain jobs, whereas Black Africans couldn't. Black Africans have started on the back foot when it comes to getting opportunities in this country for too many years. And if South Africa ever want to dominate in cricket and in any sport, we need to tap into our player of color pool because majority of people in this country are people of color. If you're only going to fish in a minority pool, you're always going to remain here. You are never going to increase and get better and produce more talent. If you're not working on the majority, if you're not focusing on getting more majority of the players to play the sport, we are not getting enough people of color playing cricket in South Africa. Not at the junior level, not in the senior level, not in international cricket. It is insane. You can't have 90% of this country being people of color and you're only producing 4 or 5 players of color at international level. It's ridiculous. Or people that are good enough. Look at that. If we have to pick 2 teams of color, we can't do it easily, with no doubts about it. And that's an issue. And until we sort that out, we are never going to improve and we're never going to get better. Because unfortunately, we we can't not speak about it because it's there. It's plain and simple and clear in front of us that those oppressions are still happening today. And you can't say that, oh no, that person's lazy, or oh no, that should work harder. You have no idea what it is like to go through what those people have to go through on a regular basis. To come out of poverty and try to motivate yourself. You've heard about the bucket of crabs. There's a bucket full of crabs. Only 1 or 2 crabs will escape and they have to walk on top of each other to climb out of the bucket. Only some will escape. The rest of them will be fried or cooked. Um, That is the mentality in any township that we live in today. And if you've put people into that mindset and mentality and that standard of living, and then you don't even help them to try and get out of that, no support, no system, how do you expect them to do so by themselves? It's crazy, guys, what South Africans have to go through. It saddens me. It really, really, really hurts me and saddens me. And I'm hoping that we can make Cricket Fanatics magazine big enough so that we can actually give back and try to make a difference and try to help people that are struggling. Because not only are the 80% on 85% to 90% of this country people of color, 80% of those people of that bracket are suffering in poverty. That's what makes it even harder. So before I get really emotional about this and get upset about it and allow it to spoil my day, I'm just going to stop there because I think we need a whole show to actually dedicate to actually to educate the people of actually what's going on in this country and how people are actually struggling. There are examples that you can use to back up your statements that you might have in your brain about what people are going through, and that X, Y, Z are lazy, or X people are not putting enough effort, or whatever the case may be. There might be exceptions to that, but as a majority rule, the th- the the opportunity to even have a dream of playing for South Africa is not readily available. It's not very clear and simple. When a young person of color is a rugby player and really wants to aspire to be something, they've got so many role models to pick from. Our role models, we don't have many role models for these players to pick from, especially if you want to be a batter in South Africa. Your role models are Temba Bavuma as a black African batter. So it's crazy that these things are happening because you can't expect person from the town, a kid from the township, to play this sport that is an elitist sport that costs so much money, but they can't even afford to put bread on the table. They can't even afford the basics in life. It's shocking to me. So we need to really sort that out. And until we can provide for the majority in this country and give more opportunities to the majority, we're going to have to still have these strict things in place to be able to help these players get opportunities, because it's not and I see people saying we should pick people on merit. Is it fair though? Or is it really on merit? Does a white player that is playing for South Africa, or the white player that's getting playing domestic cricket, is he getting um is it fair between him and a black African boy coming through the system? Is that fair? Can you really call it merit if they haven't been given the same chance to succeed and the same opportunities? I don't think so. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos, please. Also, don't forget to become a part of our Patreon account. That's how you're going to help us do amazing things in cricket, guys. So please, we want to help grow the game of South African cricket. So please get involved with the Patreon account. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. Also become a part of our magazine subscribers. Um, Link on the screen as well as in the description as well. So go ahead and become a part of our subscribers as well. Um, what else is there for you guys? I want you to please smash the like button, comment, and share with everybody. Also go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your updates. So many things. If you guys have any ideas on what you guys want to do, if you guys can help us out with obviously sponsors, etc., in the future, please get involved with that too. You can email us your if you have any ideas on sponsors that could be interested. You can email us at cricketfanaticsmag@gmail.com as well. Let me read a couple of more comments out of here because I'm going to leave immediately. Please don't spam as well in the comments, because then I think I would like to obviously get everybody a fair opportunity to see their comments. If CSA needs to get good players of color, they need to focus at the grassroots level, and schools can pump in more money into the power. Yes, it's all true. It's all true. And it's not about if we need to get good play. It's not about the color. That's what I'm trying to. I know it's very difficult to speak about it without the color, without addressing the color aspect. It so happens to be because of what apartheid did to this country, because of the separation and the segregation that has happened in this country for so many years. It so happened that the majority of people have been people of color that lived in this country. And that oppression happened to the majority in this country. And when I'm saying majority, I mean 80%, 90% of the country's population are people of color. They were then forced to move out of their homes, put into different segregated areas. The black Africans in worse areas than the other people of color, to be honest. Black Africans were put on the outskirts of the city. What happened then is you've treated people like savages, expected them to be the survival of the fittest. It's literally them feeding off each other. And then you expect them to make their own success out of that. Now, poverty breeds poverty. It's simple as that. It's very difficult to get out of that mentality. You can look at certain people. I've seen certain people get amazing opportunities to become sportsmen, and they get pulled into gangsterism or crime or something like that. Just one bad decision, one peer pressure or one threat makes them do something that is against their character. And all that opportunity and all that investment that has been put into that person gets thrown out of the window, and you have to restart and find someone new and then hope that that person turns over a good leaf. I've seen good people make the right decisions and still get murdered or killed or prevented from getting an opportunity that is out of their control. No matter how much effort they put in, no matter how much sacrifice they put in, that is the reality in this country. And I wish you guys could come down and maybe take a tour and actually see what it's like. When you fly over Cape Town, you'll see it. You'll be able to see the difference in the class. You'll see a beautiful area right next to a township. It's mind-boggling to be able to see that, guys. And we can be speaking about it, and I don't want to sound like a stuck record over here, but we can keep speaking about it until it comes out in the right way, and we see more opportunities being given. KG was in a top private school. KG was, and KG is an exception to the rule. KG's mother and father were I think, a lawyer and a doctor, respectively. So it's a totally different ballgame with KG Rabada. He's a privileged black African person. He's not an unprivileged person. He wasn't he got the same privilege. So you can't throw him into the mix. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing at all. You can't compare him to a guy like Temba Bavuma that came from Langa, that struggled his whole life to play cricket, got an opportunity and then took the opportunity and made something good of it. Some of these people have had to leave their families, they change their lifestyle, uproot themselves to try and make things work. So the levels are not the same. I promise you guys, no matter what you guys tell me, no matter who the person is that you're talking about, a white person does not have the same opportunity as a black African person in this country. The black African person does not have the same opportunity as a white person in this country. A white person will always have a head start. It's as simple as that. That is just the way it is, because poverty is related to race because of apartheid. Apartheid was the catalyst, it was the drive, it caused certain things. And as a result, it was to the people of color that were oppressed. They were the ones that were targeted back then. So automatically, by default, logically speaking, more people of color will be oppressed. Less opportunities would have been given to people of color. And now you can say, yes, but look there, the government and this and the government that, and they're doing the same things to the people. That's irrelevant. I don't give a shit if that is the case, because that's irrelevant what the government is now doing, and that you're fighting fire with fire. That's not my problem. My problem is, what are we as ordinary people of this country going to do to change things? Are we going to try to make a difference in someone's life? If everybody that's watching the stream today can help one person of color get an opportunity to play the sport, whether it be with equipment, whether it be giving them an opportunity to join a club, pay their club fees to be able to play the game more regularly and get an opportunity to be scouted, whatever the case may be. Let's do something to try and help. And I would like Cricket Fanatics to do that. And down the line, we will be opening up things where we can put towards charity and put towards people, underprivileged people in this country, because we need to make a difference and need to make it easier for people of color to actually go and become cricketers today. I know we're talking now all about the quotas and transformation, and I want to talk more about the actual teams that were selected and what you guys think over here. But let's get more. Khalid, please answer this question. If Xander is getting a game, which format do you see? I don't even see him getting a game, to be honest, in any of the games. I don't think that he should have been selected, in my opinion. That's my personal opinion. There's talented black Africans like Rabada, Lungi, but Pichlukwaya and Bavuma don't deserve in the T20 squad, Khalid. But that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Who's been selected now? You can use that you can use that argument till you die, basically, until it gets old, because there are many average white players that get picked every single day, and they're the minority, but yet they have the majority vote in a team. They're the minority in the country, but they have the majority in a team when getting selected. They have the most amount of spots available to them, actually. If you look at the team, there's no yes particular quota. You could pick 11 people of color. There's no quota on white, but more white people get selected every single time in a team. It's craziness, guys. It's absolute craziness. It takes a lot of emotional intelligence to actually understand what Khalid is saying. Thank you a lot, Nkosi. I'm trying to explain. It's very difficult for me to explain it, man, because even for me, I'm a privileged person. I'm a privileged person of color. My parents worked very, very, very hard. They weren't privileged as kids growing up, and they worked very, very hard to give me the best opportunity to go to a good school, to be able to do things that I couldn't have even dreamt of right now. If I look back at the things that I've achieved as a youngster and as a kid growing up in different sports. I never played cricket for Western Province or anything like that. I played mostly for my schools, but Western Province, judo, swimming, life saving, etc. All of those things, I got an opportunity to travel, to see things, and I was privileged. But I also had teammates that I looked to my right. I might be having a full gi and full train and good speedos and a good whatever set of goggles, but I look to my left and right, and my teammates don't have the same as me. I mean, there's been a couple of people that we try to sponsor and help out as well, even though I was also fighting to try and be the best that I could be in what I was doing, but I was privileged, and it took me to be able to meet people that weren't and try to understand that. And it shocked me when I was in sport, and I'm seeing me and you are fighting for the same thing. We're both fighting for that gold medal. But I'm going home with a roof over my head, with a shower, with a free meal on the table. You going home and you still have to take that little bit of money that someone gave you, that you worked in a tuck shop extra to get extra money, and that money is going towards your bread and your milk and whatever the case may be for your father and your mother and your sister that are home, that are not working, that can't get a job, that you have to go look after. I mean, it's crazy, man. Um, the unfairness, and I hate unfairness. I know we talk about the, in America, for example, you talk about the American dream, um, but yet poverty is the minority in America. People of color are the minority, not the majority. So the American dream sounds amazing because one of these people will come out, but over here, even every eighth person, or it's less than that actually, every second person almost that you meet, that's a person of color, would have come from some sort of struggle. And you know what makes it even worse is because what makes it worse is that we've become almost desensitized to it. That's what makes it even worse for me. Like, yes, there will be people of color that maybe are not as worse as someone sitting in poverty completely, struggling, right? That's in the township. There might be someone that's living in an area in the flats, whatever the case may be, that is also struggling. That's also has to go through their own issues, and we've all become, because it's so bad here, we've all become desensitized to the real struggles in this country, and we're all just living our own lives and going going into these things with blinders, and it's easy for us to just say, you know what, you know what, things are things are as it is. Um, it's easy for us to just brush over it, um, and look at it from that angle. Bro, not all whites are rich. That's not the point. The point is not whether all white people are rich or not. Um, but there are less poor white people in this country. There are more rich white people in this country than there are poor black people. Than there are rich black people in this country. Um, there are more poor black people in this country than there are poor white people in this country. If you take the poor white people and the poor colored people and you put them all together, it's still not as much as the poor people of color in this country. So we can't compare it. You can't compare. If you're going to start comparing those things, we're going to lose very, very, very quickly. I'll take you to once. We can take you to one city in Cape Town, and it will already be more than the amount of poor people that you'll find that are white in this country. I'm pretty confident that could be the case. Um, yeah, let me get the final question. Do you see Rossouw getting a game, or they're gonna go with Riza? Bro, I hope they go with Rossouw. Um, you see, my point is, it's not the consistency is not only about consistency with a game plan. I mean, sorry, consistency with selection. It's also consistency. Yeah, they have the sport. Spoiler alert. Um, it's also about consistency with regards to the game plan. Very important too. So if they're going to stick with a certain style of play that they want to play, then they need to be consistent and they need to pick players that fit into that mold. So if we want to play with an attacking, proactive style of cricket, then they need to pick players that can play that style of cricket. And we've seen problems with Pavuma. The same problems lie with Riza at the top of the order. So I hope that they do pick RILEE ROSSOUW and give him opportunities because he's supposed to be the answer. Fans, sorry, fans around the world have been talking, and from particularly South African cricket fans have been talking about having RILEE ROSSOUW back into the mix. So I hope that they do give him opportunity at the top of the order with Quinton de Kock. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to do all the things that I've asked you to do. Please smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell for all future videos. And we'll see you again tomorrow with another daily show. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace.